Oh, there he is.
There we go. Aha. Girl fight.
Huh, yeah. The Eternal Hopper versus Quartermaster. Alright, so we have the game up now. Let's see. Perfect. So, ooh. What is Deadbones going for? Oh, he does have the
He
score.
seems to be going for lots of structures. Kind of a siege setup.
Yeah. Well, for tier 1, he's got pretty usual setup for this match. Tier 2, Ferrets again, pretty solid choice. And tier 3, he actually got the Badger. I don't recall seeing the Badger too much.
Yeah, he doesn't have very many hard counters so much to tier 1s right now. So we'll see how that goes.
Alright. Oh, Instantarium got
Squirrels versus
his...
squirrels isn't terrible, but we'll see. So yeah, fairly open map, though. So that is a wee bit of altitude on
the west side there is a
on the
road.
red side.
Here's a road going pretty much directly from Insanitarium's base to Deadbone's base now. Also,
Yeah, so we'll see quite a bit of back and forth, most likely.
yeah, also the mills are split pretty much equally on the east and west side of the map.
Though red does have a bit, its mills are a bit more protected, a bit harder to get at.
Yeah, also red has the nice expansion on the hill up there, which if he decides to go for it, he can build defensive structures on the ledge, like the balloons, so that could stop any
so
direct
both
attacks.
going squirrels. 6 squirrels for Insani.
So far, so good.
Okay. Pretty much a standard start. Doesn't seem that they're trying anything weird.
Yet. Let's see.
Indeed, Deadbones does have this rather odd sort of building heavy setup, so we'll see how that goes.
The Sanitarium builds a mole.
Very forward mole as well. Trying to get vision, maybe?
No.
Give it early vision.
Oh, just going for an early... Oh, I thought he was going for a rush.
Possibly an early push. But Deadbones has put up a lot of squirrels, and they're going to start popping out rapidly.
Oh, yes.
But these days moles are a lot more useful throughout the game. Used to be that if you had moles past like the first couple of minutes, they were just a waste of money.
Okay.
With that structure buff, they're pretty solid.
Yeah, so even though like the mole rush was fixed, you can still use them for tanking. And they're quite...
they're pretty tanky. They're pretty useful. Take down buildings, that kind of stuff. Yep. So yeah, we're seeing that they're rushing up squirrels on both sides.
Yeah, Deadbones did build an expansion there, although it's really close to his main base, so it's not that vulnerable.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent expansion, especially with the lack of like particularly fast units on the inside side. Aside from the Fox, that expansion is going to be reasonably safe for quite a while. Deadbones is up to 24 squirrels. He is just massing the squirrels. He has to, because he doesn't really have many tier 2 options that are great against squirrels.
Yeah, just build.
The ferrets are generally okay, but not a great counter to the squirrels overall.
Mostly, the ferrets can take down some squirrels if you have lots of them, because even in that case, even if they move, you're still gonna hit some. Yeah.
And they're also just generally handy, because they can force a fight. They can force the opponent to move into you.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that used to great effect quite a lot. So ferrets are going down. Looks like he is going to actually use that kind of strategy. Possibly try and pick away at the mill on the hill. We'll see. That is a lot of squirrels.
Yeah.
See how
Sanitarium.
rapidly they took down the Sunny.
Yeah, almost killed him. You got away 1 HP. Okay, Deadbones went for scouting around 2. He did saw the expansion there.
Yeah, at this kind of phase in the game, it can be very, very tempting to not scout very much, and that can be dangerous. I definitely know it as being not the strongest player myself. I definitely fall for that a lot.
Yeah, it's very tempting when you see, like, you can actually do something, so you get overconfident and just attack. Okay, Deadbones tries to snipe some of Insanitarium's units. He did pick off 1 scroll.
Not
free.
that much, but again, it's sort of forcing him to continuously deal with him.
Indeed, has to stay on.
So, yeah, so he has flying, so you can see up the hill. So there's that.
Okay,
Denying that mole. Oh, what's that balloon?
yeah.
Didn't catch it.
However, the balloon was still in construction, so it went down to the ferrets. Let's see.
It's always a
Oh.
pretty important thing for him. Okay,
Got a
fight's
bell,
really
yeah.
going in. Ferret goes down, and it's a big squirrel ball. Ferret's firing
Ooh,
back
wow.
and forwards. Looks
Sanitarium
like
might-
Insani is winning the fight.
Indeed, those moles and those pigeons looks like made a difference. And he
Yeah,
took
those
down.
moles made a big difference there.
He took down
They-
Deadbones'
They
expansions, and
tanked a lot of shots.
Deadbones only has 3 almost depleted farms left. This is interesting.
Doesn't. Yeah, he is rapidly getting his units back, but
Yeah.
yeah, those farms are going to be gone very rapidly. Doesn't look like he's going to come back from this. He's managing to push away Insani, but he's just on borrowed time. His army is not going to come back very rapidly. He's down onto 1
Oh.
farm. If he has to win this, he has to end this here. Because Insani is only on 4 farms. If he can,
Yeah.
if he can take down
His units
do
there,
a
it's
significant
pretty
dent, and
much
he
it.
has won this fight more or less. So, if he can prevent Insani from getting his units back, if he can win this fight, he can quite possibly carry this game.
This is pretty crazy. Deadbone's using the last remaining bits of his army to clear everything out. It looks like he
Yep,
won.
and there we
actually.
go. That is how back and forth these kind of games can be, because he lost.
Yeah,
he
he
very much did
was
lose,
pretty
but
much dead. Dead, Deadbones.
yeah, but he managed to win those crucial fights at the end against the depleted army of Insani, and that let him make the right decision to push in, to stay on the offensive,
Indeed.
and carry the match.
He had no choice. If he didn't do that, he would have starved out pretty soon.
He'd have starved out very rapidly, and all Insani had to do was, well, again, like you said, people can be overconfident. He tried to finish off Deadbones, and he
Oh.
lost his army.
Need overconfidence in action right there. Okay, let's see. And game 2. See if the Sanitarium will get his revenge here. Alright.
So Insani has some toads here, and cams. Kind of a different loadout. Deadbones has pretty much a mirror loadout to what Insani had earlier.
And
So he has his artillery. Artillery can be pretty useful sometimes.
and now we also see some toads. Let's see if toads will get used, and if they will, how effectively will that happen. The map is a bit more diverse this time. It's no longer just flat ground. So
Yeah, it's got some forest, some. It's a bit tighter areas.
Indeed, the bells will probably mostly be carried out in the central area. But we'll
Mhm.
see. Maybe Dead Bones will pick a more hidden expansion.
Indeed, though he doesn't have. Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of safe options for expansion there.
He has one on a hill nearby, although yes, that isn't the safest one.
It's fairly exposed.
Doesn't have
It can be
any
attacked from any direction.
need. At the very least, if that expansion would have had some hills, so you can build
Mhm.
your defenses on it, that would have helped.
Yeah, like he has that one to the north, but that's in a valley. It's not on a hill, so that would be very vulnerable, assuming to get scouted.
Mm-hmm.
Insani does know it's there, but we'll see if Dead Bones can pull off something sneaky. So looks like Insani has so squirrels. Dead Bones is going for just a great big squirrel ball,
Indeed. It's also interesting that
and
Dead Bones actually
Mhm.
built his A farm on this first base, whereas in Sanitarium still going with only 7. He just queued the 8th.
yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see if that
Yeah.
has any long-term
There you go.
effects.
There goes a number 8.
Dead Bones does have more scrolls, although the Sanitarium does have chameleons. Although I doubt their effectiveness against the sniper balloon. But because the sniper balloon is placed close to the warrants, if the chameleons take the time to attack the warrants, then the sniper balloon will have time to pick them off.
Hmm. Though what we've seen happen with sniper balloons, especially against squirrel balls here, is that the squirrels take them down, and then by the time the squirrels have taken down the balloon, chameleons can come in and do some damage.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they're reasonably safe in the middle of that ball. The chance of getting targeted is fairly low. And there goes early sniper balloon kill on the commander, giving commander some Dead Bones some levity and some ability to move around.
Indeed.
Now, you MJ have experienced just how annoying mass sniper balloons can be to
Oh,
a commander's tactical options.
Yeah, that's putting it very lightly, but that's true. I also see the players build their expansions almost at the same time, although Dead Bones did put more importance into
Yeah,
economy.
He's pulling out on warrants, and he's building a second expansion in that sneaky spot to the north. We'll have to see if Insani manages to scout that. He knows it's there. He knows Dead Bones can build one there. But we'll have to see if he remembers to scout it.
Yep.
Looks like he is,
He
and
really
he
just did.
spots it.
Let's
So
see.
not in time for Dead Bones to cancel it or something fancy like that. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay.
Of course, in order to attack it, Insani is going to have to expose his base to Dead Bones. That may very well be what Dead Bones' tactic is here, to kind of force Insani to split off his forces and get them isolated somewhere. So Dead Bones is putting up a sniper balloon to give him some vision and a little bit of warning in case Insani decides to do something funny.
Yeah, it gives him a pretty good amount of vision. And may also let him know if Insantarium wants to go for the base up to the very north or the one slightly to the northwest.
Yeah, it gives him a lot of information, a lot of ideas, and yeah, there we go. Some harassment from the ferrets there, forcing a fight, and in come the toads. Don't think any managed to explode there. I didn't see any explosions, but he did carry the fight.
Ooh, one toad survived and managed to damage pretty seriously farm. Okay.
And in come the chameleons,
Oh.
taking down Dead Bones' expansion. Pretty much
Okay.
unopposed there.
That must have hurt.
Yeah, he did lose most of his army. So let's see if Dead Bones can claw back some revenge here, or if he's in trouble. Because that puts him now on 4 farms, most of them almost gonna mine out, so
Yeah,
he
he's
needs to
going
get on that vulnerable expansion.
He's going full economy on his remaining expansion. And he's also
Yeah,
getting,
he has to. He needs to get caught up on that economy.
he's also getting his army there to be able to defend it. It's like in Sanitarium spotted the sniper balloon, but saw that.
Yeah.
it's
Sanitarium
pretty
is
much-
making his move. He's taking down that sniper balloon, and that puts Deadbones' army in a very weak position. They can't easily see up there, and that makes that expansion very vulnerable.
Deadbones
So
sold his,
Deadbones is in a weak position.
yeah, he sold his 3 farms, leaving him on only 5, and decided to build a pigeon warren. He's most likely.
Yeah, he needs army. Needs an army to counter Insani's there, but
That's it.
that's kind of a gamble because that means that he in the long term his economy is going to suffer. So he's still only on 5 farms here. He's
For now,
lagging behind on
actually,
Insani.
his first base is about to be depleted
Yep.
completely. Although the pigeons
Yeah,
will
it is.
help him greatly with the vision for the ferrets.
Indeed, that's probably why he built them, so that he can see up there, so that his army isn't fighting at a massive disadvantage.
Okay, so
So
looks like Sanitarium's trying, well, thought of making him move, but pulled back instead.
yeah, he's been pretty tentative about this. He knows that Deadbones. Yeah, there we go. He is using the ferrets to force a fight, force Deadbones out,
Both
get him
players,
out of that little position there.
both players are really cautious
There we
in this
go.
one.
They don't want to lose their armies. I think that Insani remembers how getting overconfident could have really backfired on him. But now the big fight is going. Expansion is taking some fire. Insani is managing to push back Deadbones. And there we go. His only farming mill is down.
Okay, let's see.
That leaving Insani on cleanup duty, and he carries the game.
Deadbones surrendered. He had nothing to do there in that case.
No, losing that natural expansion there, that doomed him. He did a good match of trying to keep up, but as you saw there, his army was just continuously behind. He couldn't catch up. He couldn't manage to, he couldn't remain competitive in that match after he lost that expansion. Just didn't have the economy to do so.
Alright, so in Sanitarium did take his revenge this one, so out of 2 games, each player won 1 game so far.
Indeed. So let's see who carries the third. Could go either way.
Okay, so both players are ready. I wonder why the game isn't starting.
This appears to be a little bit of a bug with is that they're probably selecting their armies right now, but it hasn't switched over to that panel for us. Seems to be a bug in the latest version.
Alright. Well, I guess in that case we'll just wait and see.
Indeed. There we go. Match is starting.
Ooh, okay.
So match number 3. Nice sort of open channel between the 2 bases, and yeah,
There's
kind of a trio of mills to the west there, and a single one in a lot of water. Slightly more accessible for Deadbones, but closer to Insanitarium. So we'll see who takes that one.
That could be pretty tricky because I'd say that is just outside the range of ferrets, or maybe at the very limit of it, so it may be a good choice for an expansion, although the 3 expansions here in the triangle are really good because if you take control of one, you can make sure the enemy does not take the other.
Yes, like if you take the first one, it'll be rather difficult to take the rest. I have a sneaking suspicion that base out on the water can either be a really safe thing for the Sanitarium or a big trap for Deadbones. Like if he decides to take it and fight for it, that could go quite badly. We'll see. So
Okay.
both are getting their squirrels out. The Sanitarium is on 3, trying to get an early fight. tanking a little bit with the commander there.
And he's going in for an attack, very early one.
Mm.
All his units
He
die.
loses his army. Time
He-
for revenge for Deadbones? No, he didn't take down the Warren.
Yeah,
Even that one on a sliver of health.
that was very close. Also, both players
Mhm.
went for really early warns. Only had 6 out of
Yep.
8 farms on their first base.
Yeah, they're sort of starting to clue into each other's styles, and they're both pretty aggressive.
Alright. So,
Okay, looks like Deadbones has brought out some skunks as well, probably as a counter to those big squirrel balls. Force the squirrels to keep on moving, to not fire quite as much and take damage. Smoke can be a pretty good area denial thing, especially against squirrels, because they're not particularly fast.
he did sell the skunk horn now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, doesn't look like he's going for them yet. He's just building up a big squirrel ball right now.
That
They're getting some pigeons out.
Scouted in Sanitarium's base, and now Sanitarium returned the favor. So they have a
Yep.
pretty solid idea what each other's army looks like. Deadbones is
Yep.
going in for an attack.
He's going in for a bit of a fight. So, not looks like Deadbones it did win the fight, but he didn't decide to push in. It can be pretty dangerous to push in there. Then again, he didn't really exploit it. That was a very inconclusive fight there.
Yeah, he had to pull back, otherwise he would have lost a lot of the army to the pigs, which...
Yep. Pigs are a lot scarier now. It can be pretty dangerous to push in.
Alright.
So, there we go. Another fight and a sniper balloon going up.
Ooh, okay. Just in
Well,
time to be able to
yep.
save
to,
the day.
to carry the fight. Yeah, sniper balloons aren't the greatest thing against squirrels, but this early on, when there aren't a lot of squirrels in the game, they can make a pretty big difference. They have a fairly high fire rate, and they kill a squirrel every shot.
Yeah, it helps a lot that Deadbone's army was pretty much almost completely eliminated at that point, so it was only there to clean up. Also looks like Deadbones did build the skunk warren, put it up on a hill.
He's got that skunk going up there.
And he's also building a sniper balloon on his own. It's gonna be interesting.
They're sort of drawing the line in the sand there.
Ooh.
Got their expansions going up, more or less at the same time. Pretty much at an optimal time to get an expansion up there.
This is gonna be really interesting. In Sanitarium, Sniper Balloon is close enough to this expansion to be able to defend that as well. Although Deadbones had to take the mill up there, so which is out of range of his Sniper Balloon.
However, that does give him the altitude advantage there just a bit. And that skunk, it died, but it let them carry the fight, and he denies them a sniper balloon up there. That's a pretty big deal. If Sanitarium can't get a sniper balloon with vision up onto the plateau, he's going to have a hard time fighting down there.
Okay.
So he does have access to pigeons, so he can get some vision up there. But his army did lose that fight, and he didn't manage to get anything really going with that expansion. It's still pretty exposed.
So far, we
Deadbones
haven't seen really any other units from his Sanitarium other than his
No.
squirrels.
If you're looking at the farms there, nobody has particularly many farms. This is a fairly low economy game, and down goes the sniper balloon. That was a pretty good thing for Deadbones, and yep. And Sunny decides it's not worth fighting this fight.
Yeah, there was
He's not going to win
much.
at this point. But when you're looking at the army value, they were pretty goddamn close. I think that Insani thought that he was behind on economy, and he really wasn't. They both had 5 farms, and they both had a single expansion that they weren't doing very much with. So this might have been a somewhat premature for Insani there.
Yeah, I saw that towards the end, Insanitarium was going for the expansion there on the island, although he brought it back to his base.
He was thinking of doing it, but I think that this was a very small match. The fights were very rapid, very rapid succession. Nobody really got the breathing room to think of economy. So the economy, like they were down to 4 or 5 farms right at the end
Mm-hmm.
there. They
Yeah.
just didn't have the economy to do anything other than build squirrels and fight.
Yeah, this would also be like an interesting tactic for a 2v2 scenario where one player focuses on applying pressure and the other one
Hmm.
just builds an army, uh, which is something to consider.
That'd be interesting. Curious to see how well that works.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, especially with a 2v2 tournament coming up pretty soon. Um,
Hmm.
it's gonna be interesting to see which will be the teams this time.
Yeah, because that can get really interesting. Because sure, you can have some players that by themselves are very strong, but it'll be interesting to see how important team play gets, how important coordination can become in this game. So we haven't seen all that many examples of that. So a
Indeed.
single lizard going in.
Wow.
Oh, is he gonna take down that? Yes, he
Wow.
does with the last hit. He
Okay.
takes down a farm. That
Did
was cheeky.
did Dead Bones learn this from the bots in the game? Because only the bots I saw attacking with one
Mhm.
unit.
Yeah. It's a very aggressive move, but it did pay off. He managed to stream in the second lizard. This is really something you can only do with lizards because they're bloody
Yeah.
fast.
So he
He's,
lost 2 lizards and
Mhm.
he took down 1 farm, which cost-wise, it was pretty effective for him, for Dead Bones.
It was pretty effective, but the more important part is over the long term. That's a farm that Insani is going to have to rebuild, and that's income that he doesn't receive for quite
True.
some time.
However, Dead Bones was also behind on economy. Up until this point,
Yeah.
he only had 5 farms.
Yeah,
So,
he was focusing on that fight, which has let Insani pull ahead a little bit.
mm-hmm. Okay, so Insanitarium goes for mole scrolls again.
Hmm. Yeah, it's an old dependable tactic that consistently works. There's some pretty reasonably hard counters to it, but if the other guy isn't rolling them, then they're very solid.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's like
What?
Insani's deciding to stake out the low ground there, kind of get some control over a large part of the map, force
Yeah, if he can control that the middle, he's gonna deny Dead Bones access to quite a number of expansions.
yeah, 4 mills are going to be relatively safe if he can hold that center. That'll
Question.
let Insani really pull ahead with his economy if this goes well.
Okay, Dead Bones sticks with lizards. Let's see how effective
Mhm.
that will be. In a pure lizard versus squirrel scenario, which I
Well,
tried.
that happens.
Yeah.
Though then again, it wasn't poor. Though pure, those moles make a
Indeed.
big difference. They can tank a ton, and the
Yeah.
lizards like attacking the moles. So,
Okay, there is
but now it's just a bunch of lizards against moles. So, and those moles are
Incendiarium.
reasonably expensive.
Yeah, Incendiarium's squirrels didn't make it in time, so he actually lost.
Mhm.
He actually lost all the moles. It's
Yeah,
pretty big.
that's a pretty big deal, and yeah, Dead Bones is moving in to try and capitalize on that. Only taking out one squirrel, that wasn't very much.
Well,
That
it's
wasn't very
something. So
conclusive there. Yeah, what he did was that he knocked down those moles, and those moles aren't automatically coming back. There's
yeah,
what 60 foot a pop.
yeah.
So
You have to build him
yeah.
like buildings, and just a single mole comes out of it,
Hmm.
which is
Well, looks like Dead Bones is using the mobility of his lizards there to sort of scout to the north, maybe
okay.
possibly bait. Oh, yeah, he's going in. He's going for the economy. He's
Yeah,
gonna try and take down that mill, but that really isn't gonna happen.
he tried
And he loses
to.
army.
He tried to make the lizards attack the mills, the mill and the farms directly.
Mhm.
Although the lizards, especially in the mill of all the pigs and in the mill of Incendiarium's army, they just
Yeah.
melted away.
Yeah, the big problem with lizards versus a full mill is that they have to get up in close, so the full DPS of that mill and all of the farms on them is going to be on those lizards. And he had to rush past that army, so he took a lot of attrition before he even got to that mill.
Okay.
Of course, it's only lizards, so they come back really fast. And Sandy was really careful. Maybe he suspected that Deadbones had something else. He hasn't been scouting very much, so he doesn't have a lot of information to go on.
Mhm.
He's been staying mostly on his side of the map. Because
Yeah.
Deadbones is doing a much better job of scouting. He sees the expansion.
Yeah.
He knows that Insani is going to be is already ahead on economy, so he's going to either have to be aggressive or get his econ up. So
Okay, so Deadbones tries to go around with his lizard army again, and he takes down one
he
Warren.
does.
But
Let's take down a Warren.
and
Is
a
he
few
going to get
lizards.
an army out of there? Yep. Lizards are great for harassment, great for skirmishing. They're so fast they can get out of the fight. You can fight without losing a large part of your army, forcing Insani to rebuild those Warrens there.
Yeah, that's
And-
quite a big loss. He also took down some of the scrolls. And because Deadbones reinforces his army really quickly, he actually goes again for an attack
Yeah,
against.
he's gonna take out that mill. Yeah, there we go. And can he get his army out of there without losing it? Or he's just going for the fight.
Nope.
Yeah, that puts Insani on one farm. Insani is gonna have to do something. He's gonna need to be very aggressive.
Let's see. He's gonna attack
Going in.
because he doesn't have any other choice. Deadbones only
He has no other options. Deadbones' army is badly depleted.
It's gone. It's pretty
And-
much gone.
Yeah. And that puts Deadbones in a very vulnerable situation there.
Mm-hmm.
And Insani's army is big. Taking that fight was a mistake. Like he put himself ahead on economy, but then he took that fight, lost his army. He couldn't. Yeah, that was a mistake there.
It was also, I think the lizard play was still really interesting. Like the way.
Oh, that was
those-
some excellent lizard play. He was using their mobility to their full advantage, and he'd won that game up until he stood and fought, and he really shouldn't have. Because
Ah,
if he had retreated and built his army up again, then he could have either gone in for an attack to whittle down Insani's army, or he could have weathered any kind of counterattack,
mhm.
putting himself solidly ahead on the economy, and yeah, it would have been very hard for Insani to come back from that. But again, overconfidence kills.
He was that was that expansion there with very little defense must have been very tempting. So he couldn't stop himself from attacking.
Well, taking expansion was a capital move, but then standing and fighting against the army was was a mistake. With all those moles out, it was a very difficult fight to win.
I think he would have lost either way because even if he did try to take his lizards back to the base, Sanitarium's army was really close by, so he could have just picked off the lizards as they went by.
Yeah, but it's lizards, they're bloody fast. He could have quite easily have gotten out with a decent chunk of his army. And even if Insani had then decided to push in on him, he'd have had the safety of the buildings and the farms shooting back as well.
Mhm.
And he'd have given him a little bit of time to build up some of his lost army. So taking that fight was the more risky choice there.
And it turns out that was the poor choice. Okay.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out. So let's see. A decent bit of altitude on this map, but this is a big one. It's about at the upper limit of the map size that we see, and he's taking
Ooh,
very
okay.
early, aggressive expansion that gets scouted right away, of course.
Okay.
So we'll see what he decides to do. He's deciding to do something funny. So let's
Right.
see.
He's not
He
selling
brings
it.
the squirrel. A single hero squirrel defends that mill.
Yeah, it's real curious. He's actually not. He didn't sell it, so he's probably going to stick with it. Let's see what he
Yeah,
does.
My suspicion is that he wants to get a sniper balloon up
Probably.
or something to secure it. Because he is behind on economy, and he should know that.
Yeah, okay. It is a sniper balloon.
Yep, up goes the sniper balloon. Oh, and that gets denied. That was bad. Too aggressive placement there.
Oh yeah. It's also it's
now he's in trouble.
It's insanely close to Sanitarium's base, so pretty much as soon as the losers come out of the warren, they can just attack.
Yeah.
Deadbones decides to go to build farms on his expansion here.
Yeah, he is committing to this expansion. This is a very risky, very aggressive move, and he is behind on army value. But of course, those farms are going to apply a bit of EPS to any kind of defense. So he's building more scrolls, trying to get his army up. Oh, and he goes down, leaving the opening for Insanitarium without any kind of real retaliation.
Okay.
And yeah, there's Deadbones. He's just on time. Can he save it? He does. Holy shit! But
all of Insanitarium's scrolls were attacking the mill, which left Deadbones' fewer scrolls alive. So they were able to take down Insanitarium's army. Although that didn't help.
Yeah, but now the mill's gone down. Now he's in trouble. Yep, he knows it. That was a kind of a very aggressive attempt at a contain that didn't quite work out.
Yeah, it was way too aggressive. The mill was really close to Sanitarium, and he also built his warrens pretty early, so he got an army to defend himself with.
To that.
Okay.
So, let's see if they make any interesting changes to the army composition.
So we see the machine gun nest this time as well.
Okay, looks like he's going structure heavy. Yeah, that's kind of a siege loadout with the squirrels to force a fight into any kind of structures you have. He knows that Insanitarium likes his squirrels, so it's got some skunks going up there. No tier 3, only the artillery, but artillery is very, very good if you can get into the right position.
If you can get an artillery cannon and maybe a machine gun nest or two or some balloons, that's gonna be a really, really tough position to break through. Because the artillery can really soften up the army, and then whatever else you have there is gonna finish off the job.
So here we go. This is a very open map, not very artillery friendly. No real choke points. It's got a big open spot in the middle there.
All the mills are on the sides, so we'll see how that plays out.
Insanity has several mills that are like 2 mills that are in a very nice close position. Deadbones has one that's also up on hill. That's pretty solid. Seems that this fight is going to go to whoever managed to hold that center there.
Okay, so no one's going for early rushes anymore. Players build their 7 farms, and then Deadbones build a warren. Let's see what's
very aggressive warren placement. Yeah, he knows he needs to hold that center position, so he's building that warren up there. Some structure to tank some damage to. And have those reinforcements pop in just that much sooner.
It's interesting how Sanitarium just goes for 2 warrens and does not build. Oh, okay, so he just built the 8th farm, whereas Deadbones went.
Yeah. He goes 7 farms and 2 warrens, fairly aggressive. It seems to be working out for him, however. It means he has an army to respond to whatever shenanigans Deadbones brings in.
And looks like Deadbones is off for some stuff too this time. He did buy the mill.
Like he's trying to do the same thing as the last time, but again, a little bit too aggressive there, Deadbones.
Yeah, but to be able to do that, you also need the element of surprise on your side a little bit. But in Sanitarium saw that expansion immediately.
Yeah, Sanitarium doesn't scout out quite as much as Dead Bones does, but he does keep a good track of his immediate environment. And it's hard not to scout that base there.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous. Alright.
I do like myself some shenanigans, so it's always fun to see when these kind of things actually pay off. Oh no, he's got that down.
Okay.
Oh, that gets taken down. That was a loss of money. But of course, it did let him win that fight a little bit, putting himself in a very aggressive position.
I don't think.
Yeah, and he's building that mill. He's building it to tank those shots to win him the fights. It's a very aggressive move, but it is paying off reasonably well.
It's sort of.
He's continuing to hold that position.
Depends on how much health the mill has when the enemy arrives, because if you just start building it, it's gonna go down immediately. So you just wasted 60 food.
Yeah, it's really a big question of if that was a waste or if that really worked out. It kind of was a waste because he didn't manage to hold that hill.
Yeah, and now
Sanitarium lost that to pressure.
Sanitarium decides to secure that mill there. So no more
he's tired of those shenanigans. He's tired of Dead Bones' weird shit.
Yeah. Okay, so Dead Bones now goes for a more natural expansion, the one right next to his first base.
Puts him reasonably. Yeah, they're pretty much par with farms right now.
Yeah,
they're all building up economy.
Yeah, Dead Bones wanted to build a third farm on his expansion, although he decided to scrap that in the place of some Scroll Warrens.
And then he's selling the Scroll Warren. Can't seem to quite make up his mind on what he wants to do. Now that they're really econing up, Dead Bones does scout that army. He knows it's incoming.
Looks
Where
like
is he going?
In Sanitarium also threw in some Toads in there, but those didn't really do a lot.
No. So Dead Bones moved his army away from his Warrens. That's a strange decision to make, because that definitely he still won the fight, but he lost most of his army and couldn't really capitalize on doing so.
I wonder if he hoped that the Warrens would tank some hits and his army would be able to do more damage. Although I'd say it's aggressive thing, but aggressive seems to be the theme here with Dead Bones.
Yep, very much so. With both of them, really.
Okay.
Insani's a little bit more cautious, but that's maybe just because Dead Bones is being so aggressive. So he's got his got more chameleons going on. He does like them. They can be a pretty nasty surprise when they come out. You know, Dead Bones, squirrels.
Of course.
A little bit of skunk as well. 21 squirrels. Oh, and he's doing a sneaky expansion.
Well,
he knows that Insani hasn't seen that yet. And Insani may not scout it. Insani has been
actually,
pretty cautious with it.
He doesn't know about it at all. He
doesn't know about it at all? Holy crap.
He saw Dead Bones going there, but
he may lure him in there, yeah. So there we go. Fight's going on. Skunks are getting well, tanking really mostly right now. And he's he's kind of lost that fight. That didn't go well. Though Insani doesn't manage to capitalize very much on it. So he can't pull back and fight those. Can't pull back and take out that mill because, well, Dead Bones' army is coming right back. He's got a decent economy going, and it's squirrels, so they reinforce very rapidly. He's setting off a couple of squirrels to have some food to have the remaining squirrels reinforce rapidly. It's a good strategy.
Dead Bones looks like he wants to secure that expansion there, leaving in Sanitarium with one free path on the other side of the map. Although, if Sanitarium does go that way, he leaves his bases exposed.
Very exposed. It's very dangerous. We've seen this pretty often. Oh, and out goes those the ferrets, forcing. Wait, no, wait, no, not a ferret. That was
Yes.
just a skunk getting some
Skunk.
gas off on the farms there. Possibly you can take down a farm or two with that. That's a very sneaky and effective way of doing these kind of things. In come the chameleons. And yeah, he definitely decidedly wins those fights. Those tanks make a big difference. Just doing some area denial, stopping
Yeah.
the sanitarium from easily pushing in, forcing his army to retreat,
And
and all the while they take a lot of damage.
And the positioning of the gas is also pretty important because he even landed some gas on one of Insantarium's farms, which didn't kill the pig, but really decreased his HP.
Yeah,
He also
makes it pretty vulnerable.
He also got the gas on the ramp out of Insantarium's base, so the units going that way also took some damage.
Yeah,
Okay.
they take a little bit of damage there. Yeah, and he's moving the skunk up just to do a little bit of damage, just harassment really right now. It won't
Okay.
rapidly kill them. Oh, and down goes the farm. More fighting going on. Yeah,
Although,
Desert Bones' aggressive style really forces Insani to stay on the ball here, defend that mill, and stops him from really concentrating on other things like his economy.
yeah, Headbones is attacking again. He took down 2 farms this time. He also got a
Yeah,
sniper
he's
balloon
really
up.
hurting the economy there. Yeah, and a second sniper balloon up. So he's really securing that area. Looks like he's gonna manage to take down that mill most likely.
Okay. Sanitarium has another expansion though, so if this one goes down, he will not. He won't starve. Although his economy
No.
will be in ruins.
Yeah, but he has a pretty large army that is still alive, so it won't be that easy for Dead Bones to really capitalize on this right now. Of course, since Insana takes the fight right now, that could be disastrous with that low economy.
Deadbones wanted to push in with the ferrets, although he got shot by the sniper balloon, so now he knows to keep his ferrets behind.
Yeah, keep those ferrets safe. Sniper balloons are a pretty strong counter to ferrets there. They can't really do anything to them.
Deadbones tried to snipe the sniper balloon, but Insantarium
It's,
moved in the army pretty quickly.
Yeah, Insani has that big army and is managing to keep it alive, which makes a big difference. It's letting him claw back the economy. It's back up to 6 farms. Of course, now he doesn't have a lot of good options. So, meanwhile, Dead Bones is on 9 farms, has been so fairly consistently.
I wonder if it would
He
be a
can
good
keep his
idea for
economy up.
Insantarium to grab one of the expansions in the east side map, which has not been used at all in this game.
It would actually probably be a very good idea. They would be very exposed, but Dead Bones can't easily go after them. So he's putting up artillery. Looks like he's trying. Oh, there goes the fight. This is a big fight. Toads are going off. Lots of
wow.
skunk gas, but this looks like
Deadbones won.
Insani lost his army at the worst possible time. Taking that fight was not a good idea, it turns out. Of course, hindsight is 2020. Dead Bones only really had a slightly better army. It's just that if Insani could have taken that fight earlier on,
He may have had a chance.
yeah, he tried to econ, but then changed his mind, which, well, changing your mind can be pretty deadly.
Also, again, the east side map was not used at all, which would have worked well for Insantarium if you decide to go to build more hidden base over there and pull Dead Bones on Dead Bones.
That can be dangerous, though, with that army being so vulnerable that it was, being away from their army. If Dead Bones decides to fight, that psychology makes it difficult to do so.
It would have also been possible that Dead Bones noticed that Insantarium was away from his units and his bases for a long time. So Insantarium would have had to be very sneaky about the way he would have gone about
Mhm.
building expansions.
Yeah, because you can digging around is actually a pretty fast way of doing so, of getting around the map. So you can dig back and forth. Of course, if Edgebone spots him doing so, that'll that'll immediately trigger him
Yeah.
into realizing that something's going on there.
Speaking of spotting, Sanitarium didn't really know about Deadman's really aggressive expansion there. I wonder if it would have been any different if he did, if he would have been able to take it down before Deadman secured it.
Oh, that would have made a big difference in that fight. Because having that expansion let Dead Bones be very aggressive, let him put up those sniper balloons, which made a big difference there.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. So even
Small map.
I think so. That was the fourth game, putting the score
Mhm.
up to 2 points for each player. So it's a tie so far.
Okay, pretty tied. So now we're in a very odd map. It's very small, and Dead Bones has a natural contain
Mm-hmm.
going on there. He doesn't have an easy expansion anywhere.
Indeed,
Please.
if Insanitarium can capitalize on the hills next to Deadbones' base, Deadbones is gonna have a really hard time.
Yeah.
Wow, now I'm looking at a map and I realize this map is really not fair for Deadbones.
No, this is difficult. Then again, if he can, because commanders can burrow around, if he can take an expansion up on one of the hills,
Mm-hmm.
for Insani to go after them, he'll need to both expose his base and get his army cut off from the base. So that could be pretty goddamn dangerous. That
He has
could
to be
work out for
careful,
Deadbones
yeah.
if he's aggressive.
Or if he's sneaky enough, or both.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see, I guess. Okay, so Deadbones is up on the hill again. Sanitarium is up on the other side, on the cliff on the other side, so yep, he was waiting for a sniper balloon. It's gonna provide him with both defense and vision.
Indeed, which is yeah, taking control of that center point is very important for him right now.
Deadbones did build a machine gun nest next to his base, which makes me... I'm not exactly sure what he's trying to do with that. Maybe defense, but...
Possibly defend against any kind of early shenanigans. But for him, defending aggressively right now, sure, this is a pretty strong choke point. But he's got not that much to defend right now. He has no expansions back there.
Yeah, that's really the head scratcher here, because he is pretty much contained, and he should probably focus on getting out of there as soon as he can.
So he sells that machine gun. He's probably gonna... Okay, so he's taking the fight to the enemy, but loses his army most of the way.
Let's see, will the balloon...
Yeah, looks like this may just be fight. No, Sanitarium doesn't decide to push in. Of course, he knows that there's a lot of warns there. They're going to reinforce pretty rapidly. But this kind of crushes Deadbones' hopes of getting out of this contain easily.
Yeah, it's interesting that Insanitarium chose to expand on the expansion to the west instead of taking the one of the expansions on the cliff. Which would have
it's a safer expansion, but it does weaken his contain.
And if Deadbones manages to get one of the mills on the west side of the map, and he's out of the contain, and the Sanitarium is gonna be in a really bad spot.
He'd be hard pressed to deal with any of that. So Deadbones does... He consistently does a very good job of scouting scouting the opposition, figuring out what's going on. So now he has some ferrets going up. No, he cancels those and builds more squirrels.
Yeah. You know, it's sometimes easy to underestimate how important scouting is, because someone may just go to the enemy base and see a few warns and be like, okay, so I know what to deal with. Meanwhile, the opponent may actually have an arm base with lots of other warns and whatnot behind, and you wouldn't be as safe as you think you were.
Yeah, or what is very often a lot more deadly is that people think that the opposition are in a much stronger position than they really are. Okay, he's going to fight, and Deadbone's losing most of his army.
Okay.
This is, that was game. Never got out of the contain, and it remained a big squirrel ball.
Mm-hmm.
And in these kind of situations, whoever is a bit too aggressive, whoever has just a bit of an advantage, because you saw there that Deadbones had the army advantage, and he knew it.
Yeah,
but
they
were just countered pretty hard by Insani's composition and just having more structures over there. Though structure tanking is very, very important in this game.
Yeah, one or two structures can really save your army, which could turn the tide if it gets there.
Because it very much is the case that sure you may lose a warren, but at some of this mid to late game, the tier 1 warren is actually only 60 food. So if you lose that and keep that army that they put out, if you keep those guns alive and you hold the field, that makes a big difference. That puts you in a much more tactically flexible position.
True.
So, looks like Deadbones is going for something very different, a structure-heavy loadout. They're both deciding to get barbed wire, interestingly enough. And Deadbones seems to be going for a big sort of, World War I simulator there.
You know, the thing with barbed wire and sniper balloons is that if you position them carefully, in such a way so that the enemy has to get through the barbed wire to take down the sniper balloons, then you are golden, because not only does the barbed wire slow the enemies down, also does damage on its own. It also buys time for sniper balloons and to kill the army, and for any potential reinforcements that may come.
Indeed. So, yeah, especially if barbed wire doesn't get taken down, it really slows down that trickle of reinforcements coming in, which can make a big difference in the kind of longer skirmishes and fights. So we've got a lot of altitude, verticality in this map. It's fairly small. A fair bit of water in the middle there.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes.
There's also a pretty direct path from one player's base to the other. There's also a mill in the middle of it. Lots of mills on the west and southwest part of the map, and also a couple on the in the center and one on the east side, which should be a pretty safe expansion for Insanitarium. Deadbones also has a pretty okay expansion, I guess, which would give him enough territory.
Some options for aggressive expansions, which he does like.
We'll see. This time, I don't think he really should take the expansion right next to Insanitarium's base, especially because Insanitarium has the cliff there, so he can just snipe.
Yeah, that would be dangerous. And he doesn't really have a great many, especially in the northern one, he doesn't have a lot of room to build anything around it.
You just have. Oh, that's an interesting placement there. Okay, so
it kind of denies the advantage of that road there.
Both units are both commanders are building barbed wire. Deadbones is building it on the roads. And yeah, the Sanitarium's also building barbed wire on the direct path between the two bases.
And he has an early expansion going up. Looks like he's going for the long game. Makes sense with such a structure-heavy loadout. You're not going to build up very rapidly. You need to play very defensively. You can't move big ball of an army going around. I've definitely noticed that with the two of them, not a lot of tier 3 play. Either the games don't last long enough, or they just don't have them in their army composition.
Yeah, it also happened that some games really the players were constantly attacking each other, so they didn't have time to
Mhm.
focus on the economy to build a tier 3 force.
Indeed.
Okay, so in Sanitarium
So-
Dies scouting, he did see, I think, that was his expansion, or at least he,
Steve, he should have.
yeah. Alright.
So he gets an expansion of himself, knowing that he's behind on economy, and he's doing another scouting run, kind of getting a better idea of what's going on up there.
Yeah,
Is
he-
everyone learning his lesson about scouting?
Yeah, probably. I also found out that he's really behind the economy, so he's trying to catch up on that front.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to get the same number of farms as Dead Bones, although
hmm
okay. Let's see. Okay, Dead
So
Bones.
he is building ferrets, which is going to be pretty useful
Mm-hmm.
against the structure heavy play there. But he's way behind on army.
Yeah,
on
also
wild
Dead Bones.
squirrels, really.
Dead Bones has an artillery cannon, a sniper balloon, and a machine gun nest really close together, and the machine gun nest is
Yeah.
also on a hill, which
That'd be a very difficult nest to
Yeah.
crack there.
I would certainly try to avoid going on that route.
Mhm.
So that really
Of course, that
leaves-
does secure a lot of expansions for Dead Bones. He's looks like he's going for a big long game play there, trying to out econ Insani there.
Okay, so
So,
Dead Bones also built
Insani is going for.
a couple of lonely barbed wire pieces
Mhm.
on next to one of the unoccupied expansions. He's probably doing it for either vision.
It's
Well,
it's definitely vision. It's very useful to do that kind of stuff. So Insani has a third mill up. It looks like he's just trying to boom his economy to get a big army here
he has
to
a
deal with all
temporary.
this structure.
Yeah, he has a temporary economical advantage. Although we'll see
Mhm.
what he can get out of it. Okay, so he's
I've seen this play before.
Mhm.
The structure chameleons.
yeah, I just saw the
Yeah.
chameleons too. No.
There's lots of
Okay.
chameleons.
Wow.
He was so sneaky with chameleons that we didn't even see them.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh dear. The
Oh.
commander's gonna go down though, maybe.
uh,
Oh. And he's gonna get those chameleons away. Looks like he is. Oh, if they can take down that commander.
hmm?
Oh,
Yeah.
he just
Oh.
manages and trade the base. But that was an expansion without anything on it. So, yeah. Meanwhile, in Sanitarium lost most of his food production.
Okay,
That
so
was his expansion there.
yeah.
Looks like he's out for revenge, trying to defend his other expansion, and in come those chameleons, and he knows that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, this is a big Nazi artillery fight back and
Mhm.
forth.
Dead
Looks like
Bones
he's
is
moving
really
his chameleons
building.
back north again,
Dead Bones
trying
really builds a
to
lot
capitalize on them.
of bases. He knows this is probably gonna go down to a base rush. Or no, 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 no,
Quite
no, no.
possibly no. Insani's coming back to
Yeah.
defend his base.
It's
Again, as long as he's being cheeky with those chameleons, they do survive. And as long as that commander doesn't go down, they
Yeah.
don't stop the fight.
The Sanitarium only has one base left, which
Uh-huh.
really leaves him in a vulnerable spot. He builds another farm on it, although
Yeah, but in a base race, that really disadvantages him. And Dead Bones is now running around building bases everywhere
Mhm.
to
Make-
prevent this base race condition from going. Looks like he's going in for the last bases, Insani.
Yeah. The Sanitarium took the
This is,
ferrets in the hopes that he will be able to take down all of Deadbones' bases, but that is most likely not the case.
That's going to be very difficult for him right now.
Mm. Meanwhile,
So,
Deadbones is just
those ferrets are now very alone. Of course,
Yeah.
chameleons are very slow. However, now they're back on pretty much even
Ooh.
keel with economy, though Deadbones' economy is based on a lot of farms that are just about to farm out. In come those chameleons, and Sanitarium
Okay.
is on 1 mil.
Deadbones did.
It's pretty
Oh.
much game. And there we go.
Wow.
Chameleons carried the day. God, they're
Wow.
annoying.
That was pretty insane.
I love those structure chameleon setups because there's so much bullshit. But they're actually somewhat hard to pull off because you have to think
Mhm.
really counterproductive and really build up all of those buildings.
Mm.
And you have to realize that if they commit to a base race, you need to have enough bases to survive.
Yeah, although the Sanitarium was really busy on his own, so he didn't have a lot of time to attack Deadbones. So he had pretty much Deadbones was able to just build whatever the hell he wanted to.
Indeed. Yeah, and Sanitarium was not aggressive enough early on to deny Deadbones the ability to build out all of those structures. But of
Okay.
course, we'll see what Deadbones goes with this time. Most likely not. No, is he trying it again?
Ooh.
A more
Okay.
standard setup.
Yeah, standard. Okay, that
No
is a lot more
chameleons.
standard.
Yeah, chameleons are interesting that way. As long as the commander stays alive, chameleons can usually get away from a fight, which makes them really scary,
Yeah. So
and really changes the dynamics of what you're trying to kill. In kind of a chameleon fight, you're trying to take out that commander, so the chameleons stand and fight.
Okay, so Falcons for the first time in forever.
And a tier 3. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
And free flying units. That is a rare sight these days.
Yeah, Falcons have gone really unpopular.
That was so, with the scrolls having lots of health, like 10 HP. With the Falcons not really getting a boost in DPS, they kind of became obsolete. The only
Yeah.
other thing you may have chosen them for is vision or scouting, but for that you could either use your commander or just pigeons. So
Yeah, and pigeons are actually become quite useful with higher HP on those squirrels.
yeah.
And I'm not entirely sure I agree with the decision to give the squirrels more hit points. They
That
were
was
already very popular, so
that was actually rolled back, so now they have 5 HP again, I think.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they actually did. The change is in this patch.
yeah. So it's fairly recent. Of course,
Mhm.
strategies still have to catch up. So
we'll
Dead
see.
Bones is squirrels up on the high ground.
Alright, that should give him vision and early warnings in case Sanitarium tries to do more early attacks, although it doesn't look like it. Oh, Deadbones goes for another really aggressive expansion there.
Yep.
This time it's a bit further
And,
away from
Yeah, it doesn't look
Sanitarium's
like
base.
Insani has scouted it either, so
Mhm,
he's got some squirrels going up to defend it.
Okay, he just...
Insani does scout it, he does spot it. Out of 2 squirrels versus structure,
Mm,
the squirrels are a little bit aggressively positioned, and
Yeah.
they go down. Yeah, it looks like they have 5 hit points.
mhm.
So, let's see. He's being a bit too aggressive with those squirrels there, getting them killed.
Yeah, Sanitarium does have the possibility of getting reinforcements really quickly, especially with the road there.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, it looks like
And
it
he
was...
just has more squirrels being built up.
That was a bad decision.
we haven't seen that strategy really pan out for Dead Bombs yet. I
Mhm.
definitely see what he's trying to do, and that was a pretty early quit. He probably realizes that now that he's behind on economy, he's gonna have a hard time catching up. But there's a little bit of an early quit. He
Okay,
definitely seems
yeah.
to be trying to make that strategy work, trying to figure out how to do that really aggressive base positioning.
Hmm. He tries to. He really tries to make it work, and probably saw that that's not gonna happen, so he just quit. Um,
Mhm.
although,
Quite possibly this would work against a more passive opponent, but Insanitarian's decently aggressive. He builds out those
hmm,
tier ones very early, and he's pretty much clued into this strategy of dead bones early on.
yeah, if you don't get your warrants up early and you don't scout, then that build strategy may just work. Although it's not exactly a common one.
Hmm. Okay, are they readied up for you?
No, they are not. Alright, we're just gonna wait for a moment.
Hmm. Take away break. So yeah, some pretty decent back and forth there. Overall, they've been pretty even. Deadbone's taking a couple of matches, and Sanitarium taking a couple. It's a
Yeah,
good back and forth, and they're trying various different things, various different strategies.
uh-huh. And it's
And
also on the topic of the two players having about equal scores. It's actually interesting to see because Dead Bones is pretty much the veteran of this game, yet
hmm
in Sanitarium he only joined in this summer. He's showing some pretty serious talent.
yeah, yeah, we're definitely seeing that with this kind of game. It has that sort of that really nice balance of easy to figure out, difficult to master, yet someone who can really get the psychology, get can be pretty flexible, can really pick it up really rapidly and play on a pretty high level.
Yeah, and also helps because there are all sorts of people joining the alpha. So some of them have previous real-time strategy experience, some do not.
Hmm.
So there's that. Okay.
Looks like
Uh,
that's enough now for Dead Bones.
hmm.
Possibly can possibly get someone else coming in.
I'll have to see. Pocket Watch is also streaming their TwitchCon experience on their own channel, so people are
So
probably
that's
watching
gonna.
that.
Mhm. So might be not a
Yeah.
bad idea to call it a day. Let people watch the
Mm-hmm.
not watch Pocket Watch's stream.
Yeah, we'll probably just close it here. It was a
Hmm.
pretty decent stream. We've got a lot of good games. We saw Dead
Yep.
Bones and
Bunch of good games, nice back and forth.
yeah. Anyway, I think this is it for now. Thank you for everyone
Indeed.
watching, and we'll see you later.
Yep. Cheerio.